What has the government also done? Clearly, if you have followed our progress in the last 3 years, it is a clear commitment to ease of doing business, providing support for small businesses, and allowing them to get on with their lives. You know why that is important? Government only employs about 5% of our population. And we are the first to say, reduce government spending. And I was having a conversation there before I came up, that look, the government spaces are full. Those who are in don't want to go out. And many more want to come in. And the public is even saying, look, you are spending too much on these people. Where can we create jobs? It is through the 95% that private sector employs. How can we do that? Make them productive, make them competitive, make them able and willing to expand through access to credit. And that is what this government is doing. Anybody that has a better solution, a better argument to infrastructure, to agriculture, to diversification as the solutions to our problem, and a proper population management program should bring that argument and let us have a debate. And if you need examples, after the Wall Street crash in 1929, the New Deal that took America to prosperity was a commitment to infrastructure and agriculture. It's documented. After the Second World War, the Marshall Plan was a commitment to infrastructure. From the 1900s, China built its way to global prosperity. And when they finished building, they said, we want to host the Olympics. Everybody come and see what we have done. And what is happening in the Middle East, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, is no different. And Qatar has pitched now to say, we want to host the World Cup. We will host it in summer. We will make stadia cool, and all of you will enjoy it. So if you want to make prosperity, if you want to be a great nation, if you want to eliminate poverty, if you want to build prosperity, you must first build the infrastructure. Let me say about infrastructure that the best way I explain it to people is a man who starts life in a one-bedroom apartment. And is him, his bed, and his shower, and his other place. And then he gets married in the same room. And fortunately, I think it is fortune, that the first set of children they have are twins. And the room has not expanded. And even more fortunately, the next set of children are triplets. So with 5 plus 2 in one room, what are you beginning to see? Hello? If the bedrooms become 3 and the bathrooms become 2, what happens? So flip that around to the man who was living in a 3-bedroom flat, and on the day he got married, they moved to a 5-bedroom house. And after 2 children, they stop. What do you see? So in the way that infrastructure defines your lives and I, that is how it defines the status of nations. That is the difference, one of the pivotal differences between developed nations, developing nations, and underdeveloped nations. It is the quality of infrastructure. It's most defining. So when you see people living homes, food, shelter, and trying to cross the desert with all their life savings, that's the only thing they probably are in pursuit of. And therefore, we must, without a doubt, invest in it. In my citation that has been read here, the life-defining infrastructure, roads across Nigeria, the rail network to relieve the roads and evacuate cargo from the port have already been committed to. The major roads that serve Lagos's industrial complex, the Apapa Owolonshoki Road, we have already awarded the contract. The contractor is mobilizing to site. The Ikorodu to Shagamu Road, we've already awarded the contract. The Lagos Ota Abekuta, we've already awarded the contract. If you know Ota, if you know Shagamu, if you know Amuwo, Apapa, Matori, Ilupeju, those are the industrial clusters of Lagos. All those roads were left behind. We have awarded them now. That is the road to industrialization, to expansion, and to employment. You know, I told people last week at our rally that Buhari does not have time to write letters. He also doesn't have time to talk big grammar, but he understands infrastructure. And so he has created also a presidential infrastructure development fund to expand and rebuild the Abuja to Kanu highway. It is one road where that road was built incidentally. It was under construction when I was still appealing to Mrs. Fashola to marry me. Because we both drove on that road from Zaria to Abuja, and we didn't get to Abuja until about 2 p.m. at night, coming from, 2 a.m., sorry, in the morning, coming from Zaria. So that was the last time it was built, 1991. So we're rebuilding that. Bodo Boni, to link Bodo to Boni, an island where a lot of gas comes from, but there's no road linkage. So the price of bottled water on the Bodo mainland is not the same when it gets to Boni, because he has to cross the Atlantic by ferry, when you can drive across in less than 10 minutes. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which many of you know, Benin, Shagamu, you have slept on that road before, some of you have. Is it better now? And we haven't finished, it's still work in progress. Let me speak to two projects. The Mambila Hydropower Plant and the Second Niger Bridge. Let me start with the Second Niger Bridge. The bridge, there was no design for the link roads. Every time you heard we are building Second Niger Bridge, they hadn't designed the road that will connect the bridge. We just did it when I became minister. We're paying compensation now. All of the models they put in place have become obsolete to fund that project. And so it is now in the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund. And it will not be delayed by funding anymore. I've told you some of the quantities there. We're going to need 664 tons, 64,000 tons of aggregates. So those of you who are in quarry business, who are in transport business, we are going to need about 42,000 tons of steel. And we hope that the steel companies in Nigeria will be the ones who supply most of the steel. Mambila Hydropower Plant is going to require 18 million bags of cement. You want me to say that again? 18 million bags of cement. So if you want to make cement, you need to mine limestone first and all of the other additives to produce 18 million bags. Then when you produce 18 million bags, you need to bag them. That is industrialization on its own. And I'm sure Dangote is positioning, so is Lafarge, so is Ashaka Sem, and all of those who are making cement. That is how a nation rebuilds herself back to prosperity. Now, when you have bagged and produced 18 million bags of cement, you need to transport it. So let us do some small math. 800 bags per truck. Let's use 800. How many trucks would that be? 800 bags, 18 million divided by 800. You will have something like 22,000 something. That's the number of trips you must make to load the cement. So it can be 22,000 trucks or 22,000 trips, but you are going to employ people to drive those cement or to haul them by rail. Now begin to think of the lubrication, the tires, the labor that will move that. And we haven't started talking about the aggregates that will be used. It's just cement. We're going to require another 18 million tons of aggregate. So all of those who are owners of quarries today, who are in mining business, get ready.